recess. A 5-minute recess. So it's only sort of called into order.
Yeah.
I now call this meeting back to order. I now call this meeting back to order. Please find a seat. Everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. Just a couple orders of housekeeping before we launch into this. First thing, if you have not been here before and you're not sure where the facilities are, if you need to use the facilities, just check out the last door down there. Walk out there, take a left, take the first left in that hallway, and it will lead you to the facilities. Going to have a lot of exciting things going on tonight. Taking it, probably 100% of the people in here have one of these. If not, congratulations. Please stick it to silent, airplane mode, or if you want to be brave, just shut it all the way off. At this point, please welcome to the front of the room our thought and pledge leader this evening, which would be myself, Jonathan Dunn. The thought this evening comes from Viktor Frankl, who wrote what I consider to be one of the greatest books of all time. If you haven't read it, I would highly encourage you to pick it up. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And the quote reads as such: "It did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us." Once again, it did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us. That was Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. A little rusty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please keep those hands going as we welcome to the front of the room our President, Distinguished Toastmaster, Toni G.
We crossed the finish line! Everybody stand up and give this club a standing ovation! 15 years! Okay, you knew we were 15 years because you'll probably hear about that again. Welcome all. We have some dignitaries on their way and possibly in the room, so let me look around. And welcome our current Division D Director, Gail Hill-Smith. Our incoming Division D Director, Renee Castle. We have area directors in the room, Stephen Morgan and Morgan. No. Okay, we have a few DTMs. Jessica Guthrie. Renee Castle. Gail Hill-Smith! In the back of the room, John Roberts! And in line, you're in line, right? Stephen, in line?
Year's not over yet.
Not over. All right, so hang on going to turn this puppy over to our Master of Ceremonies so we can keep on eating and keep on moving past the finish line. Our Master of Ceremonies today is Jessica Guthrie. Jessica joined Toastmasters in August 2001. So doing the math, who's got a calculator right? Doing the math. Joe, she's been a Toastmaster for 17 years. In 2003, Jessica was the co-founder and first president of the Central Florida Facilitators Toastmaster Club. I've heard of them. In 2013, Jessica earned her Distinguished Toastmaster designation. She has served the district both as an area governor, as a Division D director for Toastmasters District 84. She firmly believes, and gee, I think I've heard this before, that her decision to join Toastmasters has been the best professional move she has ever made. Sponsoring the Central Florida Facilitators Toastmaster Club has been one of the most fulfilling and rewarding accomplishments of her life. Serving as our MC tonight, please help me welcome DTM Jessica Guthrie. Good evening, everyone. Yay, welcome. We're so glad you are here, and we are so very excited to be celebrating the 15th anniversary of Central Florida Facilitators. If you had asked me 15 years ago, to this day, if I'd be sitting here 15 years from now, I never, ever would have believed it. It was my honor to be asked to MC tonight's festivities, because I do think this is a festive occasion. And I'll sprinkle some information and some background and history of the Central Florida Facilitators as we walk through tonight's agenda and as we have a lot of fun. We're going to cover a lot tonight. I'm very excited. We have John Ragusa as our keynote speaker, so thank you, John, for being here. We have several awards that we're going to be presenting for folks who have had some great achievements and had some great accomplishments this year. And then we'll also have the opportunity to have our incoming officers be installed. And so it's going to be a night of a lot of fun, and we have a lot of great food, and it's going to be a wonderful time. So I mentioned 15 years ago, I would never have imagined. 15 years ago, we were doing practice laps. We were really excited. Tim Chastain, who many of you have heard of, and you'll hear his name mentioned tonight. Tim Chastain was the co-sponsor of the club with me. And the idea all stemmed from another organization that we both belong to, which is now called the it's not the American Society anymore, Association for Training and Development. And as a part of that group, most of the folks are trainers. And I'd seen Tim at a few Toastmasters events. I'd been a Toastmaster just under 2 years. And we'd see each other at different Toastmasters events, and we'd see each other at a training organization. And one day we were sitting next to each other, and there was a trainer up giving a presentation, and we both just shook our heads. It was not pretty. And we realized as we watched all these different people who were trained presenters, all those opportunities they had to improve, but they had no idea how to do that. So as a part of ATD, we decided to sponsor a Toastmasters Club. We thought, wow, these people could really get a lot of benefit from being a part of Toastmasters. So that was the genesis of this organization, was us just sitting next to each other, talking about that and saying, I think this would be really great. So we started along our journey. We didn't know what we were doing. He'd been a Toastmaster just a few years, and luckily there's manuals for everything. There was a manual about how to start a club, and so we started working through that manual, and we had a lot of great support from the district. We had some people come out and be in our meetings that we first started. We had a bunch of sample meetings, hence the practice laps. Had a lot of opportunities. And we first met at a location called the Golf Place. The Golf Place doesn't even exist anymore. It used to be up on Central Florida Parkway around the corner. And it was basically a clubhouse and then a little golf range, if you will. And people would come and enjoy that. And so we used to meet in this small room, which is probably about the size to the end of this table in here. And there was a door just like there. And we had little tables, and we were all wrapped around. And it used to get so hot in the room. So we had to open the door. But unfortunately, right outside the door was a video machine, a video game machine. So the entire time that we would be meeting, there's the bing, 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 you know, and lots of crazy noise. And so it was very distracting, but we managed to get through all of these first meetings, and actually on June 30th, 2003, and it's our 15-year anniversary, we actually chartered right at the end of the Toastmaster year. We got somebody a distinguished award somewhere in the district, and that was really exciting. And we had our first banquet was at the Altamont Hilton. We had an international director, Paul Nunier, was our speaker, and it was really just a great experience. But then we hit green, and we needed to start going. So I'm going to stop there and give us an opportunity. We're going to take a break. We're going to recess for some wonderful food. We have barbecue, I understand. We have Italian. We have a lot of great items that folks brought. We also have some wine and some drinks. And so I believe we are going to recess for 30 minutes and 20. There's no time on here, so I'm not going to. Let's say 20 minutes, because it's always going to take us a few extra minutes anyway. So we will reconvene in 20 minutes. Please help yourself and enjoy each other's company, and we'll resume at 7:24. Thank you, everybody. All right, thank you, everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful dinner. Please continue to eat. I know there's a lot of food in the back and a lot of drinks, so please help yourself. But we want to keep on going because we want to get to the good stuff. Now, when I finished up just before our recess, I mentioned that we had started our meetings. And when we first started, as I mentioned, myself and Tim helped sponsor the club, but we had two of our co-Toastmasters, or Toastmasters. We had Jeanine, Stroud, and Mike Sonnenschein, who were our first mentors and helped us through the first 6 months of our club. And you'll hear Jeanine's name tonight as one of the awards, and that's who Jeanine is. Jeanine was one of our co-founders, and not co-founder, but a mentor of our club, and provided a lot of support when we first started. And actually, I think it got her to her DPM, so that was pretty exciting. And she's still one of my best friends, and she doesn't live here anymore, so it's kind of nice. Every time somebody wins the Jeanine Stroud Award, I always take their picture and send it to her, just as a fond memory, so it's really nice. We had 26 charter members when we first started, and we still have a few of those original charter members as a part of our club, myself obviously. We have Gail Hill-Smith, who has been a long-time member for the full 15 years. And we also have a visitor tonight, my mom, who joined just to get our numbers, Toni G. So I'll join just so you have the numbers, and then stuck around for several years and gave lots of great speeches, and she's an awesome grammarian. Trust me, I hear about it all the time in my daily life, which is awesome. We quickly outgrew and became impatient with our place at the golf place where we had to meet. So we moved just down the street. One of our members worked at the Hospice of the Comforter, and she says, we have a great room, etc. And we moved in, and it was fantastic. We had a full room. They were very accommodating to us. And we met in a very small part of their campus. They didn't have the big building that's there today. It's just down Central Florida Parkway again. And it's a huge building now, and we actually moved eventually into that larger building, and we had all the great necessities that we needed for meetings, including great audiovisual equipment and everything, and we met there for at least half of our existence, and they were really wonderful hosts. It started becoming difficult at the end because of HIPAA rules, so because of safety and privacy, et cetera, it started becoming more difficult, and so eventually, after 7 or 8 years, we moved here to Brookdale. And this has been a wonderful home for us for the last 6 or 7 years, and they've been very accommodating with us and giving us a room for all of that time at no charge, which has been fantastic for our whole group. So yes, thank you. So we were off and running, and we are going to be off and running with our keynote speaker tonight. I'm very excited to introduce John Ragusa. We've had this is a great stat that I love, is we've had over 200 members join the Toastmasters, our Central Florida Toastmasters Club over the past 15 years. 200 people we've influenced to help improve their leadership and communication skills. And to me, that is a terrific accomplishment. And over that time as well, we've had lots of winning, lots of winners in our midst. First of all, of those 200 members, we've actually issued over 150 communication and leadership awards. So so the different levels, competent communicator, advanced communicators, as well as our leadership award. So 150 have come through this club, which is fantastic. We've also had winners of several different contests. We've had Stephen and Jonathan and Toni have all competed in our contest and won at one level or the other. So congratulations, we have some great representation of our club.
Don't forget the one.
Oh, yourself?
Oh, and myself.
District champion here in the club.
I was wrong. And one of the greatest accomplishments we've had as well, and you've heard it several times tonight, but for every year that we've been in existence, we have made Presidents Distinguished, which is a lot harder than it sounds to do it even for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but to do it all 15 years since we started, I'd love to find out a stat on that. I don't know if there's any other clubs in Toastmasters that have been able to do that. So thank you to all of you, because that's who made that happen. So thank you. And the reason that's so important is it really shows the health of the club and shows how well we're doing and how we're influencing people and how we've created all these winners in leadership and communication. Which brings me to our next portion of the meeting, which is identifying all of our winners tonight. We have a great number of awards to give out, and so we want to go ahead and get started there. Our first presenter tonight came to Toastmasters 14 years ago, just after we chartered. During her time in Central Florida Facilitator, she has served this club in many officers' positions and is our current president. She also served the district as an area governor and area director and was mentor or sponsor for 3 local corporate clubs. She is a professional speaker and writer, and she can be found currently presenting workshops to the community at One Senior Place here in Altamont Springs on the caregiver years. She will be speaking at the National Caregiving Conference in November in Chicago and leading the Certified Caregiving Educator Training as well. Presenting the Participation Awards, please help me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Toni G.
Would you like some assistance?
Oh, that'd be great. One of them fell. All right. Actually, I've been president for a year, so I get to stand up here at every meeting and watch you all, and count you all, and find out who's here and who's missing. And also working closely with our Vice President of Education and filling the agenda every week. I know who you are when you're here. To me, participation, this award, is one of the most important awards that we give. You're here to learn. You're here to give, and we're here to give back to you. The awards that we give at this presentation represent individuals who have attended over 75% of the meetings. And we've had 25 meetings this term. I'm going to call you up one at a time. Stephen Morgan. Thank you. You were here. Thank you. Charlie Bombalier, busy as you are, you were here. Thank you, Charlie. Charles. Toni G. The other individual, Mickey Dumitrescu, was almost here tonight, but she was here 76% of the time. But I consider this our biggest winner. Susan Morgan was here 92%. Jessica. Our next presenter came to Toastmasters 8 months ago, quiet and and terribly afraid of public speaking. With the help of her mentors and awesome team members, she is ready to go full speed towards any task assigned to her to polish her speaking skills. To present Most Improved Speaker Award, please welcome last year's Most Improved Speaker, Belina Wright.
Every meeting, the members vote for the individual they feel who is most improved. At the end of 6 months, the award is awarded to the member who has the most, who has received the greatest number of most improved awards. This individual received the awards 6 times. 3 or 4 is efficient enough to win this competition. He won 6 times. He's demonstrated his continuing excellence by also winning the Best Speaker Award 4 times, speaking on a variety of interesting topics, such as how to live a long, happy, healthy, and fulfilled life. He presented projects from the Entertaining Speaker and Specialty Speeches Advanced Manuals. His speech and presentations has called me to reflect and work towards correcting the bad habits I know that I have that will in the future, if I don't stop, will limit my quality of life. I'm always excited to hear his speeches because I know I'll learn something new and I get to go home and tell my family what I've learned and share with them. My hope is that each one of you hears his speech. Hear him speak so that you will be informed and amazed. The award for Most Improved Speaker goes to Pardeep Jindal.
It is my distinct pleasure to actually present the next award. So no introduction needed. And I will be presenting the Tim Chastain Award. Now, Tim Chastain, you remember I mentioned his name earlier, was the co-founder of the Central Florida Facilitators Toastmasters Club with me back in 2003. And this award was named in his honor as someone, and it typically is given in every meeting. We give the Tim Chastain Award. It used to be called the Revolving Award, and we actually gave it a name, the Tim Chastain Award, in honor of him. And it is given to the person who contributes something special to the meeting, whatever it may be. It could be in the meeting or in preparation of a meeting, or maybe even just something that's helping the club out in a significant way. And it's given at the President's discretion at each of our meetings. And at the end of the year, we look at those totals and see who has won that award the most amount of times over the last 6 months. And so it's my honor now to present this award. And it goes to an individual here who attended her first meeting only on February 21st. She's attended 14 of the 18 meetings since she joined. She won Best Speaker for her Icebreaker, which was only her 7th meeting with us. She works closely with her mentor, Sari Hunt, on speeches and also learning the meeting rules. And she stepped up to be a Table Topics Master on May 23rd and Toastmaster on May 30th and did a stellar job in both roles. She was also voted Most Improved 3 times. I mean, all this since February 21st. Isn't that crazy? I don't think I did that in 15 years. This exceptional TM has also stepped up to run for office and will be installed as our new Sergeant at Arms. Please help me welcome the winner of the Tim Chastain Award, Elaine Fifi Plum. Thank you. Our next presenter visited Central Florida Facilitators 9 years ago and joined immediately. 3 things he loves the most about Toastmasters are as follows: the friends he has made, the personal growth he has accomplished in his speaking ability, and the opportunity to help others reach their speaking goals. Presenting the Table Topics Award this evening, please help me welcome Toastmaster Charlie Bombalier.
Table Topics Award is given to the most illustrious impromptu speaker who has won the most times during a 6-month period. What is the purpose of Table Topics? Although members know the theme, they do not know the questions ahead of time. It is designed to help people develop the ability to speak on their feet. The exercise can be very challenging and scary for many people. The good news is the more you do it, the more proficient you become at it. Tonight, recipient of this award has spoken on topics like, what is your dream and a roadmap to get there? The theme of mental health. How Toastmasters has improved your personal and professional life. And your worst hurricane experience. The award recipient excelled on all these and more. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this person has almost demonstrated confidence and a willingness to participate in table topics, is smart and witty. On a personal level, this person has always impressed me with the passion, the caring, and exemplifies the meaning of class. The award for Most Illustrious Table Topics Award goes to Sarah Hunt.
Out to the back.
Paparazzi. Congratulations, Sarah. And the other young recipients. Sarah failing. Our next presenter began his Toastmasters journey in late 2012 and has served in many roles, including President, Sergeant-at-Arms, and Vice President membership. Here to present the Most Winning Coach Award, please help me welcome Coach Extraordinaire, Jonathan Dunn. Heavier than the others.
I am really excited for a variety of reasons to present the award this evening for the most winning coach for these past 6 months. Of course, we know what we mean by the most winning coach being the Toastmaster who won the most Best Evaluator awards. And one of the reasons I'm really excited tonight is I love this person. And they're one of the few people in the many years that I've known them that they absolutely, day in and day out, through the darkness and the light, they live what they believe. They live what they believe. I asked them this evening to bring in their introduction for the evaluations. And it's really much deeper than how they are introduced. It's really how they live their life. They consider the evaluation portion of the Toastmasters to be basically the most crucial position because it involves an opportunity. An opportunity to help another human being realize their strengths and how they can improve their weaknesses without feeling ashamed about it. And this man lives this way beyond giving evaluations. I also love this, because this is another way this man lives his life. And I've known him now since I've been here in 2012, and he made fun of my tennis shoes that I wore to that first meeting I ever came to. He loves the evaluation section because it's a win-win situation for both the speaker and the evaluator. I really thought it was really cool how John teed up this softball for me when his speech was about giving. Because I have never met another human being who gives so much. I mean it. Like, think about this, in this age of cell phones, every time I have called this person, I never got their voicemail one time. They've picked up every time, even knowing it might be a challenging situation. Batting 1,000 for picking up their phone. I don't know anybody that does that these days. This human being is completely outward focused. They get it. That life isn't about what you can get, but it's about being aware of the needs of others and giving them service. Our most winning coach realizes a very important philosophy in life. One it took me way too many years to get. That givers gain. Givers gain. Please put your hands together and give a warm round of applause to our most winning coach, Charlie Bombalier.
And over here.
Great job, my friend.
Congratulations, Charlie. Notice he didn't wear tennis shoes tonight. Our next presenter tonight came to Toastmasters 12 years ago. During her time in kicking and screaming too, I might add. During her time in Toastmasters, she has served this club in many officer positions. She has also served the district as an area director, and starting July 1st, she has the honor of serving District 84 as the Division I Director. Presenting the Most Celebrated Speaker Award, please help me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Susan Morgan.
Okay. The Most Celebrated Speaker Award is given to the member who, during the 6-month term, has been voted Best Speaker by the members the most times. This facilitator received the Best Speaker Award 5 times this term. This includes winning the club's international speech and table topics contest. Or actually, the international speech contest. Over a 60-day period, our recipient practiced and honed his speech called It's an Inside Job. He even worked with a coach to further his development with this and his other speeches. His final speech, What Did the Mirror Hold?, was a consummate achievement. He always gives us so much insight into his accomplishments and his personal struggles, consistently leaving us inspired to become the best versions of ourselves. Our recipient has persistently improved and grown. I am so proud of what this speaker has accomplished in the years he's been in Toastmasters, and prouder yet to call him my friend. I always look forward to his speeches because I always learn something or inspired to consider different points of view. I remember back to a time when he was first a Toastmaster and I was evaluating one of his dicier speeches. Let's just say I certainly learned something that night. I'm always excited to see when he is on the schedule to speak. Please help me welcome and congratulate this term's winner of the Most Celebrated Speaker Award, presented to Jonathan Dunn.
Whoa, that's
Kissy,
extra.
I thought we were coming to the front.
Ready, set, next person.
Hand the room.
And center, Susan, real quick.
One more.
Perfect, all right.
Thank you.
Toastmasters since 2004, excuse me. It has taken many years to finally obtain this award, but as of tonight, she literally said, as of tonight, thanks to her mailman, she just received her certificate for the Advanced Communicator Gold. Presenting the Jeanine Stroud Service Award, please help me welcome Advanced Communicator Gold, Sarah Hunt.
The Jeanine Stroud Service Award goes to the individual who models the spirit of Toastmasters by serving frequently, effectively, and enthusiastically at a variety of roles at our weekly meetings. So Jeanine Stroud, Jessica had mentioned a little bit about her, was a great club mentor and provided exemplary Toastmaster skills and high energy into the club. So in turn, those that serve in these ways are honored with this high recognition. This member is not a stranger to this award, as their attendance at meetings is outstanding, and they usually are found taking on 1 or 2 roles a meeting, if necessary. As each role is tracked, let me share with you how this person stacked up. So they were Toastmasters 3 times, Table Topics Master 4 times, General Evaluator 4 times, and held 7 functionary roles over the 25 meetings for a total of 18 roles. This does not include their role as speaker and evaluator, which totaled 6. So many numbers there. As you can see, they do not sit back on the sidelines. They are well-rounded, engaged, and a high contributor to the meetings. So who is the award winner? Listen up. Here's the big giveaway. She came kicking and screaming. From Toastmasters in 2006. However, she consistently rises to the occasion to support this club time and time again, as she continues to grow as a communicator and leader. I describe this award winner as warm, friendly, approachable, and such a delight to interact with. Meetings feel empty without this member, so thank goodness their attendance is high. Please help me congratulate and present the Jeanine Stroud Service Award to Susan Moore. Congratulations, Susan. Where are we heading first?
360 photos. Thank you all. And my little flowers too.
Congratulations. Kicking and screaming, Susan. That's your new nickname.
Yep.
Our next award presenter has already presented. No, she hasn't. Are you next? No. Yes, it's you. I'm about to do somebody else's intro. Write this thing. So this award is always a little awkward for me to have part of the presentation, as it's the Jessica Guthrie Spirit Award. And tonight presenting that award, please let me reintroduce Toastmaster Toni G. Everybody having this trouble? Seemed like a good idea. The Jessica Guthrie Spirit Award is named after that person over there. It is given to a member of this club who has exhibited the spirit of Toastmasters. What does that mean? They, number 1, have served diligently in an officer position throughout the 6 months and perform their duties in an outstanding manner. They exhibit concern for the healthy growth and welfare of the club. And they actively participate in meetings. I met this individual at the very first meeting 14 years ago, along with Jessica and Tim and several of the other amazing people. She is one of the few originals, that is original charter members, but she's also an original, and you can tell that by the decorations today. She's not a stranger to this award, as I think she's found a home here, not just a charter member, but a comfortable place to be, and one that exemplifies service in this community as well as in the rest of her life. She is never at a loss for giving me direction, especially as president, but in my other roles as well, regarding club matters, growth, meeting suggestions. She's been an officer that's always on top of her job responsibilities and always fulfills her to-do and action item lists. And trust me, they're pretty darn long. She happily volunteers for a variety of leadership opportunities throughout the year. She's a get it done kind of gal when taking on co-chair positions for the club auction, open house, and banquet. In other words, she lives by her lists and by crossing items off the list. Anybody else do that? It's really cool. Make a list, cross it off. When on the road, she's always an email or a text away, offering guidance and suggestions regarding growth and welfare of the club. And I have it on personal communication that she did the program in the car on the way from North Carolina to Orlando the last few days. Her membership in this club has made my Toastmaster journey a special one I look forward to. I've taken her aside and said, you will never quit this club because I couldn't stand it if you were gone. No moving to West Palm or anything like that. This Toastmaster's passion for the club, her amazing spirit in helping this club succeed, in helping all of the officers, all of the members succeed is admirable. It's something I constantly strive to achieve. You were definitely one of my role models when I was a brand new Toastmaster. It's my privilege and honor to present the Jessica Guthrie Spirit Award to that lady in the funny outfit over there, Gail Hill-Smith.
I didn't know I did all that.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And our final award presenter tonight, is one of 3 current Central Florida Facilitators members who was an original charter member of our club. She's a 19-year Toastmaster and our current Division D Director for 3 more days. And she was honored to be asked to announce the recipient of the Excellence in Public Speaking and Leadership Award. Please help me welcome the amazing, distinguished Toastmaster, Gail Hill-Smith.
No flag on this one?
There's plenty of flags.
This last award showcases a combination of the previous 8 awards. It encapsulates the main criteria of each of those awards: participation, improvement, helpful, spontaneous, caring, delivering, energy, enthusiasm. The Excellence in Public Speaking and Leadership award that this club gives represents the Toastmaster program in its most excellent form. But our recipient took out all the invaluable tools, techniques, and strategies that were cocooned within Toastmasters and opened them up. She opened up the walls of that cocoon to a beautiful butterfly, branding all that Toastmasters stands for. In these short 6 months, this recipient has shared her Toastmasters skills, talents, willingness, serving, and energy to this club and our community. She formed a company, Heart Light Enterprises, LLC, a caregiver, educator, counselor, consultant, advisor, author, and without question, a speaker. She has talked all around town. She has spoken about Toastmasters all around town. And as John earlier said, a world-class giver gives when the opportunity is and then will receive abundance at the appropriate time. Our recipient is receiving and giving the abundance of what she dedicated as a caregiver to her mother the last 14 years of her life. She did all of this while participating, while improving, while helping, while coaching, while implementing with enthusiasm as her role as president of the Central Florida Facilitators. It is my honor and it is our club's pride to present the excellence in public speaking and leadership to none other than our president, Toni G. So please join me in an applause as she finishes her race first place.
Awesome, congratulations to all our award winners. Checkered flag for all of you, that's fantastic. Well, John, your speech was perfect tonight as you talked about giving back, and there are so many ways that our club has given back over the years, especially as far as Toastmasters is concerned. We've actually helped start over 6 clubs as a part of our membership. And we've had several folks who have been a part of district leadership. We've had 10 different times our folks have served as area directors or area governors. We've had 4 folks represent the divisions as a division director role. We have C, D a couple times, I. We got all the divisions covered at some point or other, which is fantastic. And we've been the home club of the D4 conference chair, co-chairs, both Susan and Stephen Morgan in the past. So thank you all for giving back to Toastmasters. And now we're going to switch to the part of the program where we are installing officers who are going to help keep us going in the next year. But before we do that, we want to give an opportunity for our outgoing president to make a few remarks, as well as to present some awards to our committee chairs who helped so diligently with our meeting tonight. So please help me welcome Toni G. back to work. Everybody here may not be a professional speaker, but you are part of the speaking industry because of your membership in the club. And you've probably heard the wish the speaker gets before they get up to present, right? Break a leg. Well, a friend of mine knows of my contribution in the community, and I gave a workshop on Thursday, and he said, break a leg. And then he said, oh, that's probably a horrible thing to say to a caregiver. And I agreed. It was hard enough with the 2 legs I had, and one required a total knee replacement, so breaking a leg would have just finished me off pretty good. So, as our professional speaking community, could we just agree to say, good luck, or have fun? Are you all in? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, have you ever noticed every time you cross the finish line, it's time to start over again? Every time you give a speech, it's time to work on the next speech. Every time a meeting ends, it's time to prepare for the next meeting. Every time you complete a communication or a leadership manual, it's time to pick up the next manual. Let's look back over the last 6 months and acknowledge the accomplishments that brought us to the finish line. First, all the meetings brought us tremendous value. And I know that because I talked to you guys, and you got tremendous value. And I did as well. 2, we're consistently training ourselves and our new members, and we have substantial testimonies and evidence of the progress that people have made the last 6 months. We file communication and leadership awards. And could you please stand if you won an award this year, a CC, a leadership award, an advance, just so we can say thank you. And I see Sarah. Congratulations to all of you. 4, we mentored new members. If you were a mentor of a member, new or advanced, could you please stand? If you were someone that had a mentor, could you please stand? 6, we gave awards at every meeting, acknowledging our achievement. If you were someone that won at least one award at one of our meetings, could you please stand? Okay. Yeah, we got everybody. All right. Nice job. 7, we had monthly officer meetings and trained 6 of our 7 officers at TLI. 8, we had an auction, a Moments of Truth meeting, club speech contest, and 2 open houses. 9, we made a lot of new friends this year through our participation in Toastmasters, our district leadership roles, and helping at club area, division, and district contests. If you made a new friend this year, stand up. All right. Yeah. Who knew that's what Toastmasters was all about? And guess what 10 is? We achieved President's Distinguished. And we did it 2 weeks ago, which is also a big accomplishment. Congratulations to all of our members. You all contributed to this award. I think you know that. You may not know the details of the Distinguished Club award, but because you participated, because you showed up, you were part of that. Plus, you took a step forward toward meeting your goals. And John would have me say, and becoming the best version of yourself. Woo! Now that we've crossed the finish line, and I certainly don't want to step on Stephen's toes, but here are some suggestions that I reflected upon our club and ideas, perhaps challenges for success in the coming 6 months. Well, there's only 7 of those. Okay. Bring in new members. Continue to look at growing our membership to 30 members. Some people will leave. Some people get too busy at work. People come and go, so this is important. 2, train members for our future officer and leadership roles, not just in the club, but in preparation for all our events. 3, increased participation of our current members, because actually only 5 people were over 76%. What would it take to come to one more meeting every month or every 2 months? Look at your schedules ahead of time and say, these are the meetings I'm going to be at. If something comes up, of course we understand. Don't let it come up. 4, assist members to complete the current Toastmaster curriculum to the level that they desire. 5, introduce and get comfortable with the new pathways, communication, and leadership programs. And I know we've already had a number of our members go through the assessment period. If you've gone through the assessment for pathways, could you raise your hand? Okay, we're on our way. 6, get used to and consistently use technology, whether it's Easy Speak or the TI website or other means of learning. I've taken on learning Easy Speak. What are you going to do this year? 7, finally, make it a habit to communicate your presence or absence at the meetings. We really want to know where you are, what's going on, and especially if it's an emergency. One of our members, Julian Cotto, was in the hospital this week, of course, unplanned. Another member, Janet, who's a new member, had surgery on her knee last week, and she's sitting immobile in bed for the next week or so, and will be out for 6 weeks. If you didn't know, Mickey Dumitrescu, her in-laws, just immigrated from Romania. And they've been waiting, I think she said 12 years to come to this country legally. And she's been very busy with them, as well as some other personal and work responsibilities. So she couldn't be here. But this is what's going on. I know things are going on in your life. I know there's travel, there's business, there's other commitments. Just let us know, because we're a community. And to know how you are and what you're doing is important to the club. On a personal note, I thank all of you for the contribution that you've made to help me achieve my goals this year. Last July, I had the idea to start a business, and the first 6 months didn't go so well, but I caught on fire in January. I have fun speaking, and I believe it shows. Practicing my speaking skills almost every week this year has kept me on my toes and ready for my new business, where I'm finally back on the speaking circuit. Thank you, John. Public speaking. But I will be returning and gracing this very lectern as your VPE, looking for more stage time, as world champion of public speaking, Darren McBride likes to emphasize. And it truly does make a difference, because we saw John Dunn fumble his little Sergeant-at-Arms talk this week because he hasn't been here. Please remember, as we head into a new term, it's the practice of speaking regularly, of challenging yourself with prepared speeches, offering evaluations, as we've heard, notes to each other that confirms our strengths as speakers, and often offers support and possibilities for growth. That's the foundation of the Toastmaster experience. You showing up for meetings does matter. Each one of you matters. Your opinions always matter. I look forward to a fabulous year of continued growth. You can look forward to more speeches on caregiving. Feel free to continue to guide me. I'm available to do the same for you. I care that you reach your goals, and I treasure your support. As a call to action, our next meeting is July 11th, and all the roles are available. And
And just thank some folks who helped us with our meeting tonight.
Thank you, Jessica Guthrie. Thank you, Belina. Are you where I don't know. There's Belina. There's contribution to our banquet. Thank you, Susan Morgan. Thank you, Stephen Morgan. Thank you. With Gail Hill-Smith, co-chair of Decorations, Invitation Program, and etc.
And thank you, co-chairman of everything for this event to make the 15th anniversary year a reality under the leadership and guidance.
Okay, that's enough already.
Thank you. Oh, you know what? I can do one more thing. Hopefully, stop.
Yeah, you see here. All of the members, please come up to the front. I've received a club anniversary certificate from our international president and chief executive director. So your names are not on it, but please come. Get one. Here you go, Jessica. Now, woo, woo, go, go. Work out that dinner. Get it. All right. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Fifi. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, John. Mardeep. Belina. Ashwiza. Thank you. Gail, did you get one? Thank you. All right. All right, that's it.
It's the last picture. So I heard it take a lot of them.
I can't express how much.
You didn't come up. You didn't come up.
He doesn't move as fast.
He doesn't move
I
as
didn't know
fast.
if I could make it.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. Get out.
I just wanted to recognize one more time the amount of work that it took to put together not only this banquet, but to keep us straight and going in the direction that we've intended to go for this year. And so I really wanted to congratulate Toni and say thank you one more time.
I've been handed the keys. I'm ready to go! Who here remembers the first time they started driving on their own?
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Freedom.
Freedom! Terrifying. I'm set already.
Rid of the parents.
How many of you had to teach your kids to drive? What was that like? A little bit different, wasn't it? I got the opportunity to teach Emma to drive. As you all remember her here, that was terrifying at times. And I got to teach my son Richard to drive recently as well. Now he's off driving on his own. That can be even scarier when you're not there. And there are things I'm still going to miss. It got different when I had to drive for everyone else, and I had to drive the kids around. But it was fascinating sometimes too, especially with my son. I'd drive him around, because sometimes you get kind of bored sitting in the car, going around, especially if you're not the one driving. I would get some very interesting questions. Really simple ones, you would think. Why do people use drugs? Why does money have value? And of course, the simplest question you always get from your kids: where do babies come from? There was one time Richard was about 8 or 9. We're driving and he asks me, do you remember that time I thought that because toys came from Toys R Us, I thought the babies came from Babies R Us? I said, yes, I love that story. I tell it all the time. It's a great table time. Dad, I know they don't come from Babies R Us. They come from Mommy. I say yes, of course, they come from Mommy's tummy there. How'd the baby get there? The daddy put it there. How? It's a secret. Simple questions, simple answers. I wish it worked that way. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, and John, no, I'm not going to give the sex speech again, sorry. I know you'd love to hear it.
I would.
I'm here to ask you a simple question. What makes you happy? Should have a simple answer, shouldn't it? To try and figure this out, some researchers at the University of British Columbia devised this experiment. They took a group of students and they split them in half. And they gave each student in each group either $5 or $20. And they said, you're going to spend that money. To one group they said, go spend it on yourself. Get yourself something, or pay a bill. Spend it on yourself. To the other group they said, go off and spend it on someone else, or donate it. Your choice. And that's the only direction they gave. Beforehand, they had done a survey to see what their happiness levels were. And afterward, they did the same survey essentially to see what their happiness levels were. And what they discovered was that the group that went off and spent that money on someone else was significantly happier. So the answer would seem to be obvious in there. If you want to be happy, give me something. Or perhaps there's a different way to put it. Sonia Lyubomirsky, if it's pronounced that right, I have no idea. But in her book, The Myth of Happiness, she described it this way. When you go and give somebody something, you are creating an intimacy and you are doing something of significance, something greater than yourself. In the book Stop Chasing Carrots by Chris Massey, he had gone through several studies like this to figure out what is it that made people happy. And he determined 6 things were needed for anyone to be happy. 4 that were immediate, 2 that were long-term. Of those 4, you had to have certainty. You had to have possibility. You had to have intimacy. And you had to have significance. And in the long term, you had to have growth and development. If you're missing any one of those, you will find yourself lacking in happiness. But it's fascinating how those things can come together. Because here in Toastmasters, we're here every week. We're always working to improve to the next level, either in Toastmasters or in our career, in our life. We are here creating those intimate bonds with each other as we give ourselves and each other feedback. And we're doing something that changes the world, changes lives. As we've seen, Toni's gone off, started a business. John is going off to do public speaking around the world. We have seen people take what they do done here and take it further. Jessica started a business. I have seen others move on, and now I'm seeing some of these Toastmasters members running for office. It doesn't stop here. Oh, by the way, we work on growth and development as well. If you're looking to be happy, this would seem to be the place to be. Why am I here? Not the philosophical question. Why did I come to Toastmasters? 21 years ago, it was because I just didn't want to sit in the lunchroom bored while I ate lunch. Because that's where I discovered my first club. 17 years ago, it was because I'd moved to a new place. I wanted to meet the people there. 14 years ago, it was because I was in a low place and I needed some place to go where I could see life does get better. 7 years ago, it was because I had something to say. It got me to district. Today, I'm still finding my way to be happy. And the 6 things I need, I'll find right here. But there is that key. That intimacy and significance requires you to give. So I am here to get happiness. I'm here to get feedback. I'm here to get the awards. Not tonight, apparently. But I'm here to get all I can. But I'm also here to give. I'm here to give feedback. I'm here to give opinions. I'm here to give support. And I'm here to give thanks. Toni G. For having served for us over the past year, 2 terms as president and leading us to President's Distinguished yet once again, please accept from us this plaque that you can stick on your wall so you'll remember everything that we did and that you did to help us get there. Why are you here? It's a simple question. It should have a simple answer. The answer is going to be what it is for you, and you'll find your reasons to come here week after week, hopefully every week. But the question I have, and I want to know the answer, is the simplest one of all. What will you give? And college.
So as we wrap up this evening, it's kind of interesting how everything came full circle, right? We talked about giving, we've talked about happiness, we've talked about gratitude, and why we're here at Toastmasters. And just to end sort of on a personal note, I joined Toastmasters, as I mentioned, 17 years ago when I was 5. And I kicking and screaming, which was a little bit of my motto too. I was terrified of speaking in front of a group. And I had to give some presentations as a manager to about 500 people, and I froze up on stage. I managed to get through it, I think. I don't remember much about it. I walked off and I didn't remember anything about it, and I went, oh Lordy, this has to change. And my mom had been pushing for years for me to go to Toastmasters. She'd been involved in it in the past. And so hence the kicking and screaming started, and I decided to go. And so I joined, as many people do, around confidence and trying to improve my public speaking skills. Through these 17 years, I feel like I've really progressed. I still get scared, don't get me wrong. My knees are knocking half the time I'm up here at least. But I do know how to make those butterflies fly in formation now. And I stay for very different reasons than I joined. I stay because of all of you. You're my friends. You're the people who are interested in life, interested in improving yourself, interested in helping other people. So it goes back to, it's about giving, it's about being happy, and it's about being thankful for what you have. So thank you to all of you, because really this is what made my Toastmasters journey great. That's what made Central Florida Facilitators Toastmasters great. So thank you to all of you. Just a few things as we wrap up here. I do want to make sure, 50-50, any other buyers? Going once, going twice. All right, so how are we doing here, Toni, on 50-50?
We have $89, 45 will go to the winner of ticket number, numbers down. 123, 934, 1. Sorry, just number again. 123, 9341. What? We have a winner. We have a winner.
We do?
Boy. Portion of it? Okay,
Thank you so much.
congratulations.
Thank you.
My first paid speaking gig.
And it happened right here.
That's right here. Announcements? Anybody sign up for July 11th? Gail?
No, where's the?
It's here, but for the second time, I don't, where was signed
Mickey
up
has
last?
the other sheet.
Well, nobody signed up. Well, Fifi signed up to do Thought and Pledge. Party
I'm not sure.
changed the date. Yeah, you're not here the 11th?
Yeah, so I'm moving my.
It's getting late, let me just send out.
So Tony is
Yeah,
Toastmaster, we have
Oh, I
a
am?
speaker
Okay.
party, but we need 2 more speakers and everything else
You're gonna speak next?
Mine is 18, like
You
the
should
big one.
be 18.
11th, I would just give one.
for the hour, but he's gonna give a 5 to 7 or,
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh, okay,
okay.
all right.
So,
we have to give, right?
got this?
That's what
You
Steven
have to
said.
give.
Yeah.
okay, I'll give this to you.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
All right, so remember, no meeting next week, July 4th. If you come here, congratulations, I won't be here. The other people will be here. But July 11th, come with bells on, I'm sure we'll be kicking off the new year.
Yeah.
And
Need to become a client.
Yes, as co-chair here, those fantastic table
I'm leaving.
centerpieces,
I'm
I
leaving
want
in
to
August
thank
myself.
Belina
Palm
for
And there's Kate.
customizing and also District 84 where we come to see.
You've
Do
been in the
look
light a
at
few
your,
times
look
I met
at
you.
your agendas. If on the back of your agenda,
Good,
you
good.
have a number
Congratulations and safe
15
travels.
above the loving cup. You have a 15 on top of the loving cup. You take home that centerpiece. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so we talked all night about the 15 years that we've celebrated success for Central Florida Facilitators. We've talked about our year of success, and it's been really exciting. Now it's time to start our engines for the next year. So let's make it 16 years Presidents Distinguished. Thank you everyone for being here, and good night.
And let's eat cake.